The second thing I want you to ponder about, whatever you focus on gets hold of you. Whatever you focus on gets hold of you. Since you're so quiet on me, I want to throw you off balance a little bit. How many men in this house can tell me the truth and lift up their hand if they saw a pretty girl who is smelling so nice with very strong perfumes, whose skirt is a little bit too short than normal? They will auger. How many men can confess they will auger? There's a delay with your eyes. Would you agree with me? Do you find a delay with your eyes? All right. For those of you who don't have a delay with your eyes, when that happens, you're either too young or too old or too sick. The rest of us will auger. By the way, do women auger? Yes. Do women auger? Yes. Now, can I tell you this? We are doing paradigm shift. I want to throw one shift right here. Affairs don't start on the bed. They start in the mind. You play the tape so clearly, your body only implements the mental picture. The eyes are the windows of the soul. Anything you focus on, you will go for it. If you choose to patron strip clubs, you will degenerate. If you choose to come for seminars like this, you will progress. I can guarantee that 1 out of 1. You can choose to read Ben Carson's book, Think Big, or you can choose to read John Kiriamite's book, My Life in Crime. Let me ask you a question. Talk to me right now. Is it bad to watch pornographic movies? Talk to me. Yes. Okay, why? Talk to me. I want to hear from you. Why is it wrong to watch pornographic movies? To confuse your mind to do what? Talk to me. Don't shy. You start thinking pornography, isn't it? And you start thinking where to implement it. Then how come a lot of Kenyans will watch violent movies? If pornography can corrupt you into immorality, I put it to you, watching violent movies will lead you to violence. Some of the quarrels you have as spouses is because of watching violence. How many here are guilty of buying their children toy guns? I challenge you today, replace them with positive things. Do you know, as much as there's a book written on my life in crime, did you know there are very many positive books written, narratives that your child can read? Must they read how to rob a bank? So I want to suggest tonight, start painting good pictures. If I were you and I don't have a house, I'll look for a good architect. And I'll tell them to draw my dream house as I visualize it. I know without a shadow of doubt, because I've lived it, if you look at that picture every day, with concentration and love and faith in God, eventually that picture will turn out as you saw it in the mind. Let me tell you this. There's some people who have tried this therapy when they were sick. And they decided to hang the pictures of their heydays when they were looking young and healthy. And they hung these pictures in the bedroom, in the sitting room, in the kitchen, everywhere. And they began seeing that little girl who was cancer-free. And eventually they recovered. Painting the picture. Replace the bad pictures. By the way, let me pick a little case right here. With your permission, Terry. Terry is in our midst. She's the owner of Ashley's, and one of the leading real estate gurus in the country. I'll give you a personal case with Terry. Now, we went through a terrorist attack, Westgate. Do you remember that? Yes. Terry decided she's not going to whine. So she went to Lavington Mall and put up a very huge investment. Her biggest salon was there. She actually decided she's not going to allow the terrorists to achieve their objectives. And when they reopened Westgate Mall, guess what? Terry was among the first people to reopen the salon at Westgate. Meanwhile, the overwhelming majority of the people who are stuck at Westgate have pictures to show you why they failed. Look, I used to do well, but the terrorists hit. Look at the pictures. Look at the pictures. Do you remember? I was a millionaire, but the terrorists. Burn those pictures. Burn those pictures and begin to live. As long as you have those pictures, you'll never start to live. You're going to paint the right pictures. And that principle about shifting our focus, number 3. Your outputs are proportional to your inputs. Your outputs are proportional to your inputs. In other words, your external world is a reflection of your internal world. Your public life is a manifestation of your private life. The privacy of your thoughts that nobody knows except you and the omniscient God, the all-knowing God. You will always be betrayed what you think in the private by your public life. What you're seeing here in this hall tells you how I labor in my privacy that is attracting Nairobi to this hall. It doesn't start when I start here. You'll always be betrayed by your private life. If you can take what I've said, then you can take this. This is a bone for you to chew. If you're broke, it's your fault. Hey, did you say that your outputs are a reflection of your inputs? Yes. Then if you're broke, it's your fault. That's a hard one. If your marriage is in a crisis, it's your fault. It's a reflection of your inputs. You know, those of us who are joining Sense 101 for the first time, I think it's good I said a disclaimer here. This is a life club. And we speak pure truth uncensored. Because we know sometimes in the marketplace, people have tried to decorate your way to the top. Your output are proportional to your input. Maybe I shouldn't have told you that. But the truth will set you free. Check your inputs. Check your inputs. If somebody paid for you today to come to this place, please, for heaven's sake, go refer them after this meeting. Invest in your learning. Invest in your mind. You can afford 12,000 per year for the sake of your learning. You can afford. You have money for what you value. Do you agree with me? Yes. You have resources for what you value. Let's go to shift number 3. Shift number 3. Shift your self-talk. Shift your self-talk. 22nd of March, 1978. High wire artist Karl Wallenda fell from a high rope trying to cross the twin towers of Cordado Plaza Hotel, San Juan, Puerto Rico. 3 months prior to that fateful fall, he produced a movie known as The Great Wallendas, depicting his comeback from a fatal fall. And the picture he began to paint in his mind, the words he began to speak, in fact, the wife was interviewed and said for the last 3 months, this man was thinking nothing else and talking nothing else, but just one day I might tip over and fall. For the entire life, he was filled with the thrill of impressing his fans. But for the last 3 months, he was preoccupied with avoiding the fall. In the past, he entrusted his crew with fixing the ropes. But the last 3 months, he had to inspect it himself. You know what? Our own fears are often self-fulfilling. And I want to suggest a shift from the way you talk. Because the tongue has the power to bless and the power to curse. The tongue has the power to make and the power to destroy. Born blind, deaf, and dumb, when she finally learned how to speak, Helen Keller eloquently said it this way: sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will break my heart. And I believe there's some validity to that observation. The strange thing is that a number of us are careless with the way we speak because we are not conscious on the vitality of this faculty. So our speech is inordinate, meaningless, and thoughtless, without knowing whether we are blessing or cursing ourselves. The Bible says, thou shalt not curse a deaf person. Leviticus 19:14. I've often wondered, why such a scripture? Deaf people don't hear. Then I began to appreciate it is the damage those words will do on you as they destroy the vessel in which they are stored. The Bible says life and death is in the power of the tongue, and they that love it shall reap the fruits thereof. Proverbs 18:21. And tonight I want to suggest something. Shift the way you talk. And let me make it very easy for you. How is business? Not bad, not bad. Is that familiar in Kenya? What would happen if you said, we are expecting increase in business? You're not lying. The reality on the ground, but you are giving the picture of what you expect. When I change the word problem into challenges, I perceive the situation as temporal. When I train my tongue to say I can or I will rather than I can't, I begin painting pictures of taking responsibility. You know, the moment you start telling your staff members, I don't like nonsense in this place, wouldn't you just tell them, I like the spirit of excellence? Does that make sense? Have you ever heard people saying, I'm bored? Who bored you? You know, we just throw words. You know, in the frozen north, they have a unique way of killing wolves. And they pick a spade and smear it with their sheep blood. And then they bury the spade about 100 meters away from the pen of the sheep, with the handle downwards. Attracted by the scent of the blood, the wolves come, and they begin to lick the blood. After a few moments, they realize the blood is getting warmer and warmer, and they begin to lick faster and faster, not knowing they are licking their own tongue, and they bleed themselves to death. And that's exactly how negative words lure you into failure, because you can't perform in a manner that is inconsistent with the manner of your speech. The best indicator of your thought system are the words you use on a day-to-day basis. Keep speaking negative things about the nation of Kenya, it will turn out to be exactly that way. I propose to you, you don't have to cheat that you're unwell. Somewhere I read, let the weak say, I am strong. So yes, if God can say that and he's not lying, he doesn't lie, you can afford to see it from God's perspective. You see, if you want to kill a bullfrog by boiling him, the moment you put him in hot water, he's going to jump out as soon as you keep him in hot water. But if you put him in some cold water and gently heat the water, he begins to enjoy the warmth. He enjoys slowly, and of course he wakes up dead. And that's exactly how we curse ourselves with the words we use on a day-to-day basis. Every single night, I kneel by the bedside of my children. I bless them every day. Every day. I was invited by Dr. Mary Okero, who is in our midst, to speak to our students last year, McKinney School. And she prayed over me before I went to speak to the student. But I asked her one question. Dr. Ali, please tell me the truth. How come your family was so successful? For those of you who don't know the lady in our midst, one of her brothers was the 9th Vice President of the Republic of Kenya, Moody Awori. Agri Awori was the Minister of Information Uganda. Nelson Awori was the first doctor in Africa to conduct a successful kidney transplant. The facility in Upper Hill is named in his honor. Huntington Awori perhaps is the most common known brand in our corporate boardrooms. Madam Okello herself with her late husband are the proud owners of McKinney School. Our current Minister for Environment is her family. The current CEO of Barclays Bank is her family. So I asked Dr. Ali, please tell me the truth. She told me, you know, Kenyanjui, our dad was an Anglican clergyman, and he spoke the future you are seeing right now. Some of you who have seen some of my clips, go look for a video. I've given that story. And I say the Awori family will continue to dominate East Africa for many years to come, because one man knew, while there is little you can do about your ancestors, there is something you can do about your descendants. Yes, your mom had a cursing tongue, but you don't have to curse your children. You don't have to push the curses. You can put it to a stop and begin to bless others. Watch the words you use, because they are fulfilling. God created everything through the spoken word, with your exception, by the way, because he took time molding us and he bled the spirit in us. Everything else was through the spoken word. Jesus healed by speaking. Words are never innocent. They are living messages. They obey your commands. They implement your mental pictures. Please shift from a negative speech to positive speaking. Can we go to shift number 4? Shift your associations. Shift your association. There are some things I've been teaching this club, and this is one of my most passionate values about the people we relate with. If you do not understand me tonight, I guarantee you in less than 2 years, you'll give me a phone call and say what I'm saying makes sense. The other day I received a call from one of us. She's in our midst. Her name is Patricia. And she told me, Daktari, for the first time, I have understood what you've been speaking about, a nation of deals. I've been in the marketplace and I've met exactly what you used to tell me. So please, keep this in your heart. And I'm going to tell you 3 basic things about shifting your association. Number one, you don't attract who you want, you attract who you are. You don't attract who you want, you attract who you are. You may want to attract cabinet secretaries into your life. You may want to attract governors into your life. You may want to attract corporate leaders into your life, and we have very many in our midst. I can see Beatrice Meso in our midst, the company secretary, Kenya Power. Catherine Monyere, who's been a director with Coop Bank, and many other senior guys. I can see a director there in Central Bank, a friend of mine. And you may want to attract some of these fellows. In reality, in life, you never attract who you want, you attract who you are. I tell you this, you see, there was someone who went into a new neighborhood, and I gave this story in February. And he met a storekeeper right there and asked him, how are the people in this gated community? The storekeeper said, before I answer that question, sir, please tell me, how are the people of the place you're coming from? And the newcomer said, well, they are backbiters and mean and malicious and sadists. Terrible! That's why I'm leaving that community. And the storekeeper looked at this guy and said, sir, I've got some bad news for you. Here we are backbiters. We are sadists. We are malicious. We are evil. About 2 weeks, another newcomer came to this gated community and asked the same question to the same storekeeper. How are the people of this new community? The storekeeper asked the same question. Please tell me first, how are the people of the community you're coming from? And he said, well, they are great guys, warm, lovely. You know, I wouldn't have left were it not for the job placement. The storekeeper told him, sir, I've got some good news for you. In this community, we are warm, we are welcoming, we are lovely. What's the message? You see people from your perspective, from your own lens. Thieves think everyone steals. Adulterers think everyone commits adultery. Corrupt guys think everyone is corrupt. You see people from your own lenses. If you wear green lenses, you see everything greenish. If your nose is smelling, you think no one has showered today. Clean up your nose. You attract who you are. Like begets like. If I pick your phone right now, I want to ask you a question. Who do you call the most and spend the longest time on phone call? That's you. That's your character. If you don't like that character, it's time to move on. Number 2, the only person you can change in this world is me. The only person you can change is me. You know, we are busy trying to change the whole world. And I want us to change a certain paradigm tonight. If you want to change your spouse, you can't change them. If you personally change, you either change your spouse or you change your perception on your spouse. You don't change people by changing them. You change people by changing yourself. If you want to change your boss, you're going to change yourself. When you change, you will either change your boss or change your perception on your boss. I want to do something profound here. I'm not suggesting everything else I was saying was easy, but I'm going to give you some take-homes. Are you ready for this? Yes. You never work for anyone. You never work for anyone. Someone else might give you the paycheck. Someone else might write you the check, but you never work for them. You work for yourself. Even though your current employer might not pay you for what you deserve, the moment you learn this truth, you'll eventually be paid more than you deserve. Our friend Peter Kogoro, who is together with us, has been a very dear friend of mine for very many years. Every time he has an occasion, he invites me. One time I was having some chat with him at Nairobi Club, and I asked him about his first job. And he may not remember, he told me this. He told me, Kenyanju, let me tell you something. I never worked in that industry. I ran. I never worked. I ran. So today when you see Kogoro Foods manufacturing all those products, going to Middle East, remember what he told us. He never worked when he was working for someone else. He was literally running. And by the way, I wrote that in my book because I was touched by that. You never work for someone else. Who do you work for? Your current employer might not recognize you for what you deserve, but trust me, friends, right in this life, someone will. Hard work will never go unnoticed. Principle number 3 under that. Review your associations periodically. Review your associations periodically. I don't remember anything I've emphasized in Sense 101 more than this point right here. Today, the 6th of May, 2016, I am part of your story. You are the main character. You are the main actor. I am God's messenger on your behalf. Some of you hearing this voice, chances are so high, we may never meet again. This is the only reason I was coming to your life. The overwhelming majority of you, we're going to meet again. You're the main actor. I'm playing a certain role. And finally, I'll be removed from your stage. Your story goes on. And someday, the curtains will close on you. I want to suggest to you tonight, some friends were brought to God to you for a season. And the season could be over. Don't insist on those associations. They are still and they will keep you down. That doesn't mean they are bad people. Absolutely not. It only means the season is over. Their role in your life is over. You see, there are many people. For example, I'll give you 2 biblical examples. Have you been blessed by this video? Please like and share with family, friends, and colleagues. Great people are either sources of light or they are mirrors that reflect the light. Be a channel of blessings to others. And hit the subscribe button to enjoy thousands of my videos free of charge.